You know, the White House says that 2.6 million kids aged 5 to 11 have received their first shot of the COVID vaccine, and that's about a 10% of children for that age group.
In general, kids probably don't look forward to getting shots. I know mine didn't, and they've already heard a lot about this vaccine and probably have a lot of questions. So joining us now to talk about the importance of getting kids vaccinated and how we can address any of the concerns is Dr. Syra Madad, and she is an epidemiologist and the senior director of the Special Pathogens Program at New York City Health Hospitals. She also happens to be a mom of 3. Dr. Madad, thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course, thanks for having me on.
So your children, they're 1, 5, and 8, is that right?
That's correct.
So 2 of them fall into this 5 to 11 age group. So how did you approach talking about getting the COVID vaccine?
Well, you know, they love superheroes, and I was talking to them about how by being vaccinated, they're acting like superheroes because it's not only protecting them, it's also protecting those around them, and they're helping prevent the spread of this dangerous virus. And so by knowing that, they're very excited. They actually have their vaccine appointments today. I had to hold off because my eldest one was a little under the weather because of cold. So they're excited today.
Yeah, you know, and same here. I'm holding off my booster because I had a cold recently. So you also, you know, you helped create this vaccination guide for the Harvard Belfer Center, which includes ways to prepare to get vaccinated and what to do after you've actually had the vaccine. So what are some of the top lines of things that parents should really be doing for their kids before and then after their vaccine appointments for their children?
Yeah, so the way that I'm preparing for my children's COVID-19 vaccine appointment is first, I want to make sure that they have eaten a snack because sometimes they get anxious and they and one time they vomited. So I want to make sure that they're comfortable, they've eaten a snack. They're wearing loose clothing so that way we can expose the arm for the injection site, that they get well hydrated as well, and that we give them a big, you know, like a bit of a pep talk. You're going to feel a needle for 2 seconds and then you're going to be okay. And then after getting the vaccination, it's waiting at the clinic for 15 to 30 minutes to just monitor them. And then enrolling in V-Safe. It's a CDC app that helps track when you got your first dose, reminder for the second dose, and any side effects your child may be experiencing. So those are just some high-level tips I encourage all parents and caregivers to do.
And the other tough part is saying, oh, well, you got to go back too now for another shot in a few weeks. Yeah, so what kind of trends are you seeing, or New York City Health and Hospitals seeing right now when it comes to pediatric COVID cases?
Well, I think generally across the nation and across the city, what you're seeing is an increased number of child or pediatric COVID-19 cases. In fact, this is the 14th week in all the United States where you're seeing cases above 100,000, you know, per week. So, you know, children are getting infected, and in fact, case numbers in this pediatric population of under the age of 18 is rising. Hospitalizations you're seeing are still obviously pretty high. You're seeing the number of deaths in this pediatric age group. So it is not something that is not impacting them. It is, in fact, impacting them. So it's really important that we do urge parents and caregivers to get their children vaccinated if they're eligible.
Yeah, and we're talking about in certain areas of New York seeing an increased infection rate, around the country an increased infection rate already, and that's with all these vaccines out there. So I want to talk about the booster shots for a second, if we may, while we have you. All adult New Yorkers eligible now for them. In fact, the FDA coming out, of course, and saying that they are moving forward with approving it for all adults, depending on the date they were fully vaccinated. What's the science showing when it comes to boosters? And when I ask that, I mean, could boosters become the new standard to be considered fully vaccinated?
Well, I always thought that this, you know, the COVID-19 vaccine is going to be a 3-part regimen. And so it's not just 2 doses and a booster, but it's really 3 doses. And that third dose helps with that long-term protection in preventing transmission of the virus. And so as we move forward, I think that's what's going to change eventually, of changing that definition of a fully vaccinated to 3 doses. Now, why we're saying that third dose is important is because we are seeing evidence of waning immunity generally in the population. And it's more so if you are immunocompromised, if you're elderly. And in fact, you know, Israel, we've been watching since July, and they've been able to show us that since July, after 2 to 4 months of the primary dose, we start seeing a bit of waning immunity. So this is this is long time coming of all boosters for all adults. So I'm glad that FDA made that decision today. And, you know, CDC is going to endorse it later on today, hopefully.
So do you think that they're going to change the Moderna booster shot since it's only half? Or do you think they'll make it a full dose? Because you're talking about a third dose.
Yeah, that's correct. So Moderna, you know, did submit for, you know, half of their dose. And I think that once we get some more information, we will be able to see whether that third dose is that full dose or that half dose.
Yeah, and I know you can't answer this, and you came on to talk about children, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because that's what I do. So, Dr. Madad, let me ask you, so with this third dose, you get it, third dose, booster, whatever you want to call it, and then you have to wait and see how long that one lasts, right? So this could be potentially be a yearly vaccine.
I think it's up in the air. We need to make sure that we're following the data. And right now we're seeing that third dose is important because you're seeing waning immunity. Now, whether that third dose is going to give us a long-term protection, there are a couple of studies that are showing you'll probably be protected for at least 7 to 9 months, maybe longer. But we'll see. Once we have better data, once we track third doses, we'll be able to see if this is an annual type of vaccine.
And a lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, it's winter, we're going to be inside, it's holidays, I should get the booster, right? But if you got the booster, if you got your second shot in September, do you need to get the booster?
So, right now, if you are 6 months after, your second dose of mRNA-based vaccines, you are eligible for that booster shot. If you got the J&J, then it's 2 months after. And so I would encourage, if you're eligible, to get that booster shot. But if you are gathering for the holidays, I think the biggest tip is obviously get your booster if you're eligible, but to get tested ahead of time. I know that when people gather for holidays, they may not want to wear masks, so that testing is really important because it's going to help keep that virus out.
Awesome.
Great advice. Thanks so much, Dr. Syra Madad. Thanks for joining us this day, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too. Thank you.